Search and rescue operations in freezing conditions are ongoing after a passenger jet collided with a helicopter mid-air near Washington, D.C. A total of 67 people were on board the two aircraft. There is no confirmation of survivors. Media reports say at least 19 bodies have been recovered. A warning to our viewers. Some of you may find the following images distressing.
This is the moment EarthCam surveillance footage caught American Airlines Flight 5342 colliding with the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter, crashing into the Potomac River in Arlington, Virginia. The mid-air collision occurred at 8:47 p.m. local time, when the passenger jet en route from Wichita, Kansas, was close to landing at Reagan National Airport near Washington, D.C. The reaction from eyewitnesses in the area: disbelief.
Horrendous. Unbelievable. Shocking. Just to think about a plane crash in the DC area, a very busy area in terms of aviation. We have 3 major airports in this area. They're all within 40 minutes drive of each other. So that gives you a sense of how busy the radars, the air controller, and there is no room for error.
In the hours that followed, a steady stream of red and blue flashing lights filled the sky at the crash site. The jet was carrying 64 passengers, including 4 crew. 3 soldiers were on the helicopter, which the U.S. Army has confirmed was on a training flight. The Pentagon says it is launching an immediate investigation into the incident, while U.S. President Donald Trump has appeared to partially blame the helicopter crew and air traffic controllers in a post on Truth Social. And while the cause is yet to be determined, some analysts have offered theories around the helicopter's tracking system.
It's quite possible that this training flight of this Black Hawk helicopter was a covert style training mission of going black, if you like, and not having any electronic tracking turned on.
Authorities say around 300 first responders are working on what they call highly complex rescue operations. Workers have been battling freezing conditions, wind, and the river's pitch-black water as they scour wreckage under frigid temperatures.
It's an active operation that's going to last many hours as we continue to work through recovery efforts and rescue operations. This will be ongoing for quite a while. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and our communities, and we appreciate all DC's support to our agency and our federal partners.
Local media reports that several members of the U.S. figure skating community were on board the flight. Russian news agency TASS says former ice skating world champions Yevgenia Shishkova and Vadim Nomov were also passengers on the aircraft. The last fatal passenger airplane accident in the U.S. was in February 2009. But a series of near-miss incidents in recent years have heightened safety concerns.
And for more, we're now joined by Kate Fisher, reporting live from Washington, D.C. Kate, it is a grim situation for rescuers who are still in search for survivors. How are conditions looking for them, and how soon can we expect a confirmation on the number of casualties?
Yes, authorities still not giving us that information. We do expect there to be a press conference within the next 20 minutes or so by Washington, D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser, when, of course, I'm sure one of the first questions will be just that. We are told that around 12 to 19 bodies have been removed from the water so far. That's local media reporting that, but clearly the conditions here making it very difficult for first responders. This happened at night, so it was dark. The water is freezing. The conditions here in Washington have been very, very cold for weeks now, and that makes it very difficult for both the victims and the first responders who have to get into that water. We know that hypothermia sets in between around 15 to 30 minutes after getting into cold water, leading to unconsciousness. So certainly the mood in Washington, D.C. remains hopeful, of course, but the facts are fairly bleak.
All right, and we'll be watching that presser very closely, Kate. But we understand experts have said that both aircraft were navigating a closed airspace at midnight where conditions may be challenging. What can this tell us about moments leading up to the crash?
Yeah, absolutely. This part of Washington, D.C., of the United States, is really congested with air traffic. You have 3 airports, Reagan National being one of them, but also BWI in Baltimore and Dulles in Virginia, all within a 40-mile radius of each other, really. Then you have all the military aircraft. Then you have the presidential aircraft, the Department of Defense aircraft. There are lots and lots of aircraft circling. It's already congested. We understand that the Black Hawk helicopter involved in this was on a training flight and that it was dark in that its responder wasn't working. These are all things being reported. I haven't had it officially from the DoD yet. And that for some reason there was some incident in whether it was air traffic control, whether it was the Black Hawk or indeed the passenger jet. There was some miscommunication or some lack of communication. This, of course, will be central to the investigation. There has been 1 black box recorder removed so far. They'll be looking for the second to try to piece together what happened in those moments coming up to it. But certainly, we do know as well that the airport itself has been under scrutiny. It's run by the federal government. The runway is fairly short, so it's a difficult airport to land at. But and there was even talk after 9/11 that the airport might be shut down because it is so close to the centre of Washington, D.C. But of course, it's terribly convenient for senators, members of Congress, because they can fly almost directly into the centre of Washington, D.C. and get to Capitol Hill within around 20 minutes instead of having a much longer journey from one of the bigger airports further from the centre of power. I think this is going to raise even more questions about how safe it is to have this airport so close to such a congested airspace.
All right, Kate, thanks for that. Kate Fisher there with the latest from Washington, D.C.